Welcome to Craft Beer Friday, and we have a guest. Kevin, welcome to Craft Beer Friday. Thank you for coming.
So happy to be here finally and bring great beers from Ann Arbor.
Yes, where do we have beers from tonight?
So we got a few. All three are from Homes. A couple of them are collaborations. So we have Hyrda The Depths, which is a collaboration with Mortalis Brewing. Has a million different things in it, but it's delicious.
Sweet label. Homes does really good work. So this one is blackberry, raspberry, coconut, Meyer lemon, maple syrup. Okay.
Yeah, I don't get a ton of maple syrup, but I get everything else for sure.
And then you were saying you have to invert this for a minute.
Yeah, 1 to 2 minutes, something like that, because it settles so quickly and it's so thick.
Nice. What else we got?
I got another Homes. This is one just came out like last week. This is Metaform. It is a Passionfruit sour IPA. Metaform is a ongoing series from Homes, but the primary ingredient or flavor changes periodically. There's been like a blackberry, there's been a raspberry, strawberry, and now this is Passionfruit.
Nice. That one will be, yes, I'm liking passion fruit more and more in beer. I think it's definitely better than what everybody's. Mango used to be like the hider of flavors, I feel like.
Yes.
And passion fruit is kind of, I think, taken over that a little bit.
I would agree.
Yeah. And then you said you got one more.
One more, which is Deep Depths. This is I don't think this is not a collaboration, but this is another one that needs to be inverted from Homes. And it is a few different things. It's a little bit different than the first one that I talked about, but it's still really good. It's another fruited sour, but it is a few other things as well.
It's kind of like a nice little smoke pattern on the lens. And again, so yeah, so it's 3 sours then.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is prickly pear, lemongrass, raspberry, mango, and plum. Lovely.
Can't say I've had too many beers that are plums. They have plum as a primary ingredient.
That'll be cool. And then hopefully, all right, so let's start with the Hyrda of the Depths and go from there.
So something interesting about Homes that's really good. I'm friends with the GM and I've done a little work with them on their coffee side.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Really too thick with two C's.
Wow. Okay. Making a mess. This is juice and I'm going to
Told you.
Blood all over my jeans, basically. That's the color of this. So, hang on, we're back after some technical difficulties and cleaning.
Pour the rest in there.
Yeah, definitely like this, not expecting this color from this, which is really cool. So, cheers to these beers.
Cheers.
There we go.
Oh, man. So good.
This is, I think you were saying it before we started recording, this is an elevated smooge. And I am here for it. This is no maple.
Don't get it.
I don't get
any
all.
maple.
And I think, what do we have? Blackberry, so more raspberry, blackberry. A little bit of coconut.
Yeah, it's not. So some of the stouts in particular that Homes uses are pretty heavy on the coconut, at least in my taste.
Yeah.
But the Meyer lemon comes through a little bit as like in terms of like the acidity of it.
Yeah.
It's really good though.
Yeah, it's chunky.
Very chunky.
And for the right reasons. Like this is, you're not drinking a lot of these
No.
at all, ever. But these are, this is really, man, it's not as sour as I thought it was going to be, which is good.
It's very tart. So I'd say it's on the tart. Like, I mean, you really, like, I get more raspberry than anything else, at least to my palate. But it's still really good. Like, you're not drinking like 3 of these. Like, no way in hell.
No, I think I would drink a whole one by myself. I mean, I've already chugged this. I feel like if you drank more than one, your teeth would be this color after a while. Like people get, wine wasted on red wine. I think it would definitely be like that. So,
And like, look at it around the glass. Like, look how much like
Yeah.
stuff is settled around.
I definitely like. This would be fun to have on an actual, like on draft and like way colder. I think. I mean, it's still good. Like it's still good, but I think like it being a little bit colder would definitely be way more refreshing. This is like a great summertime like outside brunch type thing.
Couldn't agree more. So one thing that Home does that I find is like, so like I said, I kind of done some stuff with Homes in the past and kind of learned about their brewing process. Some breweries you'll notice in like some of their sours or some of their other beers, like it's really sugary. Sometimes you see that as an additive in some IPAs, especially a lot of the domestic stuff or mass production stuff. The difference that Homes does, and truthfully, it's kind of reflected in the price of their stuff, which is a little more pricier.
Yeah. It's definitely worth it. Like, it's not expensive to be expensive. Like, you know,
it's a quality drink.
Yes.
They use instead of using concentrates, they use like puree, like fruit puree. Yeah. So in talking with them about smooge, like smooge is like what I equate smooge to. It's if you want to enjoy Homes but can't drink beer. So it's that seltzer. Which
is my wife to a T, because that has ruined, like, Smooge's seltzer has ruined her for any other seltzer now. Yeah. And we've tried everybody else's, like, thicker seltzers that they're doing, and people are doing the fruited sour ones, and nothing has come close to it yet.
Yes.
But I don't know if we had other ones first and then did that one, but I definitely want, like, I want more flavors immediately. But I know it's hard to do because of the process that they're making it with. So like, it's definitely, you know, cost prohibitive, and like batch wise, they can't, like, it's harder to mass produce because of, again, probably cost and time, but like quality wise, yeah, it's fantastic. And the small drops that they do with, like, I think we had a mango raspberry one. Yeah, that one was really good. We actually mixed it with the margarita or with the pina colada one, and that was really good too.
If you go to the Homes location, periodically they'll do it. Like I went there. I want to say it was about 3-4 weeks ago, and they do smooge slushies, but then they add rum to them. So we had the strawberry banana with rum, and it was really good.
Shit. Okay,
yeah, really fucking good.
yeah, that'd be real good. So all right, let's do this passion fruit one, hopefully. So this is milk, sugar, vanilla bean as well in it, and hopefully this one does not explode on me too. Does not. This one actually looks like a beer.
Definitely more of like a standard IPA body to it.
Yeah.
It's not. I like to think of like some of the Home stuff as like smoothie sours or something along those lines, and this is more of their, like, it's again more of a traditional beer from them.
And not too much carbonation on it. This one is definitely more sour with the passion fruit. It also, I don't know if it's because I just finished drinking this, like how thick this is, but like this does have, like, consistency wise a thicker consistency than like a normal like IPA sour, but it is made with milk sugars, so I think you'd get it would be a little bit thicker anyway. So
of the Metaform series, like, I'd say most of them have been really good. Key lime, I wasn't the biggest fan of the key lime one.
I feel like it's such a hard flavor to do because it's either underpowered or overpowered in things, and like, I mean, from a baking perspective, like you need like 10 to get like a tiny bit of, I'm saying seasoning, but like flavoring.
Sure.
So for this one with the Metaform, I definitely like this. You could sit down and drink a bunch of.
Oh yeah,
easily. And I like that because like you do not, like, you have an option. It's sour in the right way. Not like sour. It's more like, I don't think sour is the right word. I think like it sounds better when you're like presenting a beer, because you wouldn't want to be like, oh, that's a tart beer, but like flavor wise, it's tart. It's not sour.
Yeah, and it's categorized as a sour IPA, as all the metaforms are, but I'd say it's more on the sour end versus the IPA. I think the IPA end of it really kind of balances the beer out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think it makes it a little more enjoyable. I mean, all the metaforms have been good, and like we had a discussion about this at work, as we're a bunch of beer people at work, and like we share stuff and do like tastings, and all the home stuff is all degrees of like good. Like they're all baseline good. Some are great, or exceptional, but like I mean, Holmes doesn't miss. Like I think for the most
I really
part.
haven't had a beer from Holmes that I haven't liked. That one you got me, that big, it was like a Concord grape.
Yeah,
that one was so good. Like it was just like a little bit sour, a little bit tart, and like, I mean, I like anything with Concord grapes. Like that's always good stuff. So
that's another series by Holmes.
Yeah.
The Through Line series. They've done like, I mean, they do like cherry, strawberry. I think was it strawberry, blackberry, and they did a random one which was pawpaw, like which is
the hell kind of.
I think it's an Asian fruit. They described it to me as like a custardy fruit, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with that.
If you describe something as a custard, like which is a food to describe another food, like I don't think, like that doesn't sound appetizing to me. So, all right, let's do this last one, which is the Deep Depths Fruited Sour. This one also is an inverted one, so I'm going to be careful opening this one.
This one should be fine in comparison. This is a newer one versus the first one, which was been sitting in my fridge for a little.
And
for a couple months.
I have noticed like with Smooge, they recommend you store it upside down. And like anytime I've bought it in store where it wasn't stored upside down, it does overflow. So that's a nice, like it's like an indicator of if it's stored wrong or not. Mm-hmm. And then this one is another great color. Like that's one thing that I really do like. Like all their labels and all of their beers, all of them have like really, really good color to them.
Vibrant, really vibrant colors. I mean, you really see what I like about it too is like you can tell the fruit that's in it. Like they're not like bullshitting with the ingredients that they use, and it comes through in their food and it comes through in their beer as well. And now their coffee too is really excellent.
So prickly pear, lemongrass, raspberry, mango, plum. I get raspberry mango real quick.
Sure.
Prickly pear is light. Like usually, like I don't know if that's like a heavy enough fruit.
I mean, and I haven't spoke with them about it. I mean, the brewers there are really like clearly dorks about ingredients, and I'd be curious to ask them like, what are they trying to get out of it? Like, what flavor profile are they trying to get from the prickly pear to add to that?
Yeah, and I feel like in some cases, like some people get into this headspace of like, oh, I have to have 20 fruits in this thing or 20 different, flavor profiles in it, and sometimes like less is more. Obviously,
sure, in
everything. In videos, because you guys love my little 15-second shorts, but also too, like, I mean, if you balance it correctly, which I think this does a great job of doing it. I think the lemongrass gives it like, there is a little peppery flavor to it. And that definitely is like the lemongrass. Plum is somewhere in there.
So I think it tarts it up a little bit in comparison to the first one. They're distinctly, despite having a similar hue, like they're distinctly different.
They are different, yeah. I think this one's not as thick for sure. Like this one's definitely lighter.
Yes.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find a person who didn't like either of them. Just because the flavors are they're not overbearing, they're not over sweet. And the sour tartness is very balanced. So it's not like a warhead. Because anytime like I've had sour beers before where they're not really done well and they're like, oh, it's a sour beer. And it reminds me of middle school when people are like, eat this warhead, like that shit. And so, excuse me. And that was not sour for the wrong reason. And these are these are good because like a raspberry, depending on when you get it in the season, it's either tart or it's super oversweet. And this is, you know, mid-season perfection of the balance of the two. So I think it's a really good, yeah, these are really good flight of the three.
Homes, like I said earlier, Homes doesn't really miss. Me personally, I think, and I think some other people would agree, is that I think Homes makes the best sours categorically in the state.
Yep.
There's very few places that I could compare Homes to in the state of Michigan, particularly. I think like my sour rankings of like breweries for that, I would say Homes is number one. I think the Ferndale Project does their sour program is really interesting. Yes. Granted, what I heard is that they brought over someone from Ascension to do that.
Yep, and Ascension also has very good sours as well. Mm-hmm. And I think, yeah, like those are, I mean, kind of the three, realistically, those are the three main breweries in my like everyday drinking. I had from Ferndale Project, I think it was like a strawberry shortcake, like birthday cake type flavor with it. And that one was really good. It was like, you know, strawberry notes and like vanilla, and like it had that cake feel to it because I think it had some milk sugars in it. So like it was really well done, and it was just like a little tart, so not too bad, but sure. But it was good. Yeah, I think all those three, and I know Ascension, yeah, they usually always have a sour up on tap, and like their we did review a sour. Actually, I did review a sour, and I gave you one of their beers. It's a collaboration that Arctic Circle did with Ascension, which was their pecan peach pie sour that they did, which was great. So
Ascension also is a really good balanced brewery. Like my favorite brewery in the state of Michigan is Oddside. I think Oddside, everything they do is really good, from their stouts to their sours to their IPAs. In their like even more lighter side of like Beam Flicker, and their seltzer program is pretty robust as well. I mean, if you go to any major store, you'll see at least 2 or 3 really distinct flavorings from them. And talking with Homes, it's nice that like, I mean, I live in Ann Arbor, so I'm able to get home, and I'm a member there.
Yeah, I go whenever you want.
Whenever I want. Yeah. But it's nice being able to see Smooge. Like they talked about Smooge being available in a lot of stores, and like that's, unless you come to Ann Arbor, which I go to most of their releases, most of Homes' releases, and there's people from across the state and Midwest that come out. When I was in California, last month, I was wearing a Homes shirt at one of the breweries, and they were like, "Oh, Homes." They're like, "Did you order that online?" I'm like, "Well, no, I'm from Ann Arbor." Yeah. And they're now widely known, especially in the trading stuff. Like people were asking, like when I was there, they're like, "I wish you would have brought some with you." And it's yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like I drove for that mango raspberry release, and drove out, and I really wish I would have gotten more at that time. I think I was just like, I saw it drop on Instagram, and I like scrambled to get it because I always like miss it. And yeah, like I mean, I definitely, I think the first time I had that, I was like randomly at like my local like liquor beer store, and the guy's like, you know, behind the counter, he's like, "Hey, do you like these flavors?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "This is a seltzer," and I'm like, "Is it gluten free?" Because like obviously then my wife Carly can drink it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, "Oh yeah." And like, there was people in front of me. I don't know if they were a plant or not, but like they were buying like 5 4-packs, and that's not cheap. Like, especially at that store, that's like, it was like $18 a 4-pack.
Yeah, that's the going price.
So yeah, and that's fine. And like, I will pay it every time because it is delicious. But like, you know, I committed and bought, you know, 2 4-packs of, you know, each flavor, or one of each flavor. And yeah, it's like every time we go to the store, like we always try to get it. And I go to specific places, like the Plum Market up the road from me has it now, and I don't have to drive back. So it's definitely a good thing. And I heard that they're supposed to do a strawberry daiquiri flavor for wide release, which I would love because I love that drink. But
they're doing some interesting stuff. And like talking with them, they've kind of thrown out a few flavors for the future. But like they have some very interesting things in the pipeline. And Homes, I've been there since the beginning, because when I moved to Ann Arbor, that's when they first opened. But like even like outside of their sours, like their King Cold Brew, since they've opened their coffee arm, which is Dozer, is a really great beer. It's a light coffee one, and some of their stouts, which sell out in 3 minutes, have all been excellent, like barrel aged stouts. are all been really stellar stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I haven't had from them yet. I've only had like the fruited sours and stuff, and then like obviously the 3 things that you brought tonight. So definitely have to hit them up for more stuff. But thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being part of the show. Everybody likes having guests on, we'll try to do it more often. It's a little tight for the video space, but we'll make it work. And I'll drop links to everything in the comments and all that fun stuff. And thank you for watching, and have a great weekend.